supply of maize to the National Cereals and Produce Board with immediate effect, or else you will carry the cross. This is the message by President Uhuru Kenyatta to Agriculture CS Mwangi Kiunjuri. The president is demanding immediate action on those involved in the maize and sugarcane scandals that have rocked the Agriculture Ministry, as Duncan Khaemba now reports.
For the second time in less than a month, an infuriated President Uhuru Kenyatta has put on the spot Agriculture CS Festus Mwangi Kiunjuri to name all fictitious maize suppliers to the NCPB who are paid at the expense of genuine maize farmers, to which will pay the price.
Kiunjuri, tujue ya kwamba sasa mchezo umeisha. Tafuta hawa watu ambao wanakula mali ya wengine, utuletee tufunge, ama wewe mwenyewe utakuwa na shida katika hiyo shida mambo. Kwa sababu hatuwezi kuwa kila saa pesa inatolewa na inakulwa na wachache.
And he is asking hard questions.
Lakini unasikia kuna mkulima ati amedeliver kwa NCPB mahindi ya shilingi milioni 200. Jameni, niambieni ni nani? Mimi niko na shamba na sio ndogo. Niambie ni nani mkulima ambaye anakuza Kenya hii mahindi ya shilingi milioni 200? Si ni ukora jameni? Si ni ukora? Mtu anavuka hapa kwa mpaka, anaingia Uganda, anatafuta mahindi, labda hata hatafuti, anakuja kumwaga. Mkulima ambaye ametoa jasho wa Kenya analaa njaa, watoto hawajasoma kwa sababu ya ukora ya wachache.
The president says it is unacceptable that entire 2 billion shillings budgeted to pay maize farmers from North Rift region was paid to unscrupulous businessmen and cartels deeply entrenched in NCPB.
Hakuna pahali ya kujificha. Hii pesa ni ya mkulima, iende kwa mkulima. Na hata hiyo mmeiba tutaifuatilia, tujue iko wapi, na tuhakikishe ya kwamba tumechukua hatua kwa wale ambao wamefanya hivyo.
Early this month, while at the Nairobi ASK show, President Kenyatta issued a similar warning demanding action against all those involved.
I promise you and I swear before God, you try that again and you'll see what is going to happen to you. Sisi hatutaki mchezo tena.
With regard to the ailing sugar industry in the country, the president has instructed a task force be established that will be chaired by CS for Agriculture Mwangi Kiunjuri and Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya to report within a month with recommendations for restructuring the sector.
Uchumi wa miwa umesorota kabisa. Kampuni zetu za Mumias zimefunga. Kampuni yetu ya Nzoia karibu kufunga.
I direct the Ministry of Agriculture and the National Treasury to immediately put in place a framework to pay sugarcane farmers, but after auditing the 2.6 billion Kenya shillings, which is the outstanding amount owed to them by public sugar factories. Na hiyo pesa ilipwe mkulima, isilipwe watu ambao wataenda kuingiza pesa hiyo kwa mifuko yao.
Well, all eyes remain on Agriculture CS Mwangi Kiunjuri as the president and the nation awaits the naming. Duncan Khaemba, KTN News.
Thank you, Khaemba, for that report. Dismas, let me begin with you. Before we even zero in on Kiunjuri and whether he's under siege or not, you've seen the harsh words that have being used by the president, the warnings, to his cabinet. What does this say about the relationship between the president and members of his cabinet? Does he trust the cabinet? Let's begin from there.
Well, it would be easy to come to the conclusion that the president has got very good instincts, as Bichachi indicated, although he did not indicate, he has not given us evidence of those good instincts. But it's very clear that the cabinet is letting him down. The cabinet is not implementing his agenda, and that's the reason why we've been saying on these 4 times above number that he actually needs to fire the cabinet. He needs to get rid of the people who are not delivering value to Wanjiku so that he can have a legacy. Because when he leaves office, nobody will remember who was in Uhuru's cabinet. We'll just say that President Uhuru Kenyatta did not deliver. So he needs to clean up that cabinet. But when you look at Kiunjuri, we shouldn't be looking at Kiunjuri in isolation. He's one of the cabinet secretaries we said not to be delivering. So he probably represents a number in that cabinet. But the idea that we need a task force over the sugar crisis and the maize crisis, in my view, is a step in the wrong direction. Because, for instance, when you talk about maize, Governor Mandago has already pronounced himself. He's taken a position on the maize crisis. So you cannot have him in a task force. And even Governor Oparanya himself has already taken a position on the sugar crisis. There are allegations that he's got some relationship with Mumia's sugar, which borders on incest. So he's already taken a position. And then you are saying he's going to be a member of that task force. So, you know, they've already reached the conclusions, even before they have their first meeting. And in my view, the President Kenyatta lost an opportunity of setting up a commission of inquiry to establish what is the crisis in the sugar industry. And, you know, he was in Kakamega, where even the Kakamega leadership was not given the opportunity to address the nation, to focus on these issues. And the president should have appointed a commission of inquiry to go into this sugarcane crisis. But when you go back to Rift Valley for the maize issue, and I know that's where Kipchumba comes from, but it's time the maize farmers in Rift Valley begin to understand that it's not always going to be the case that when you produce maize, it's going to be bought by the government of Kenya. The government of Kenya has got an obligation only to buy maize for strategic grain reserves. If you tell people in Rift Valley that produce as much maize as you can, we are going to buy them, then even people in Kisii will say, we are going to produce so many tomatoes and you want the government to buy. Other people will say, we are going to produce pineapples, you are going to buy. It's time for those farmers accept that this is a market-driven economy. There is a supply and demand. If you've got a surplus of maize, there are a clever way of selling that maize in Machakos or Garissa, enough maize. But this idea that and the must buy, that's the reason why they'll be crying the come home. I come from Kisii. We do not depend on the government to sell our tea or coffee. People have organized themselves. So Kipchumba should tell his folks in the villages to form some sort of circles, or they revive the Kenya Farmers Association.
I'm sure Kipchumba is going to
of course, I can this boiling over with fury. But you see, this is the reality. In as much as we say that maybe government to offer subsidies, this can be offered through the Kenya Farmers Association, so that we address the input cost. I'm not going to reach back and say, I'm going to produce beans, government must buy. I'm going to produce milk, government must buy. No. And you know the reason why President Kenyatta is going to have a challenge prosecuting the folks who are said to have stolen is because they have not broken any law. The National Cereals and Produce Board can buy maize from anywhere, from a billionaire in Mexico, from Somali, from Italy, from Rwanda, anywhere. They've not broken any rule. But coming back to the issue,
but they have to give priority to the local farmers, and I think the major problem.
It's a moral issue.
Yes,
it's not a legal requirement.
Before we cross over to our next segment, I think the major problem is the payment. Actually, the little that these farmers are selling to the government, they're not even getting the cash, because it ends up in the hands of, you know, some funny people in between. That they're always called the cartels. We've never seen the faces of these individuals. But Mark, as we before we cross over to our next segment, perhaps can you tell us what are you reading between President Uhuru Kenyatta's, you know, relationship with his cabinet?
I think, and this again is evidenced by the sort of separate modes of communication and storylines that these guys seem to be reading. The president is always about the Big Four agenda. The president is always about fighting corruption. The president is always about peace. Now, you tell me in your mind today, which cabinet secretary has come out to say, I am fighting corruption, has come out to say, I am pro-peace, has come out to say, I am implementing the Big Four agenda in a substantive way without the president pushing it. The truth of the matter is, the people who seem to support Uhuru's agenda more are people outside of his cabinet. The Railas, the Mudavadis, the Kalonzos out there seem to be champions of what Uhuru is doing more than his own cabinet. Because his cabinet, when people get arrested, as I've said before, they say they wish that they would be in jail. And I wish the president would oblige and actually throw such people and grant them their wish and let them spend a night in a cold cell floor. So the truth is that the cabinet of Uhuru Kenyatta does not consider him the commander-in-chief. They consider him the suggester-in-chief. They take his commands as though they're suggestions and opinions of a man who's delusional. I think they accuse him, as Kipchumba accuses me, of living in an ivory tower, wanting to fight, utopia, wanting to fight corruption, when corruption is the only reason they're in office. The Kiunjuri is just, to me, a symptom of the greater malaise that is within the cabinet, and for all intents and purposes, there is not a single cabinet secretary I can applaud today as we speak. Okay, because when you look at every pillar of the Big Four, it has not been articulated to me in a manner that makes sense. And I can promise you there are many, many Kenyans, if you ask them what are the 4 points of the Big Four, they do not understand. If you asked yourself when was the last time a cabinet secretary came up with an innovative solution for Kenya, you would be remiss to think that that has never happened, because indeed it has never happened. The truth is this: Uhuru Kenyatta is leading a country where in his mind, he's in 2030. His cabinet secretaries, unfortunately, are in 1992 at the clasp of about to sign another golden bag scandal type of deal. This is true when they want to furnish entire floors of offices using hundreds of billions of shillings, because apparently you can only work when your bottom is caressed by a massaging chair. These are the things that we need to change in this country, and the president will do himself a big favor by firing all of these people and starting again.
So the warnings are not enough, the angry words are not enough. We need to see heads rolling. That is Mark Bichachi's point of view. I'm going to come to Momboleo once again and Kipchumba. I know Kipchumba would like to react to Dismas' point of view earlier. All that will be happening after this very short break. Of course, you're watching the Sunday edition